of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
So as you can see, we have spotted some tracks, but we have some exciting news because Bushwalk is back. And good afternoon, this is Safari Live. Ready. Standing by.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live.
Good afternoon again, everyone, and welcome to Safari Live. And we've spotted some interesting tracks here, and I will tell you about them shortly. And a big welcome to the school this afternoon. We've got Creature Conservancy with us. So a school drive for the first part of the drive this afternoon, or Sunset Safari. My name is Byron, and on camera with me is Sebastian. And of course we've got Rexon walking with us. So we're going to be doing the bushwalk this afternoon, which is very exciting. And then Ali is going to be on the other vehicle. And then we've got Megan and Alice in final control. I haven't heard from the Mara just yet. They might be joining us a little bit later, not sure. But as I said, we found some interesting tracks that we wanted to show you. Now these tracks, and actually one of the purposes of us doing bushwalk is because we get to see and appreciate some of these small tracks of animals in the area. Now this track is actually from a nocturnal animal. That means it's from an animal that's been moving around at night. Now can you see, it's not a very big track, but a very nice round track. Now this is from something called a civet. So this civet walked here during the course of the evening, and it's got a very clear pad. Let me point that back pad out to you, and then you can see the toes. 1, 2, 3, 4 toes. So this civet would have walked across the road during the evening looking for food, and most likely is resting now during the day. Now it's a very, very warm day here in the northeastern part of South Africa in the Sabi Sands. It's about 27 degrees Celsius or about 81 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is lovely. For a winter's day, it is beautiful. Really, really beautiful. And I'm happy and excited to be back, and especially with the bushwalk. Now I'm going to start heading away from camp with Sebastian, see what we can find this afternoon. Let's head over to Ali, who's driving around and would like to say hello to you.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a very beautiful and hot afternoon. My name is Ali, and on camera with me today is Craig, and we are super thrilled to be out here in the bush and just looking for things. Now, as I was mentioning earlier in the pre-show, it seems like a lot of the roads have actually been graded during the day, which is great news because it means that we're able to see the tracks a little bit better. Now, as we carried on driving, and I can't see them anymore on the road, so that's why I'm not going to be able to show you guys. We found some ostrich tracks again. Now I think there's been a sneaky ostrich coming in and out quite often in the last few days, so we'll see. Maybe I think we'll make it our mission to go and find this ostrich. Yeah, Taylor saw the tracks yesterday too, so who knows, maybe Team Girl will get the ostriches before the boys. I think that would be quite quite the adventure. I have never ever in all my time in the Sabi Sand seen an ostrich here, so I think that would be the best thing we could hope for. That would be great. Now I turn my radio down and I'll try to keep it up here again. So there were reports of a big herd of buffalo heading towards Sydney's dam, and I know that the Nkahuma Pride was somewhere around Manialeti this morning, so we're just gonna go have a quick check around before we head back down and start looking for that ostrich. Now, what are these tracks? Okay, what is happening here? Sorry, I'm just trying to discern a lot of tracks, but it seems like it's hyena tracks. But you can't tell too nicely because of... Yeah, I'm just... Alright. Nothing that we can really see here, so... Can I carry on and see? It feels like we have chosen a good starting route, lots of mysteries, and then of course if we can we'll go and try to check up on the Hyena Den because I would really like to see them again and see what's happening. I know there's been some distressing news in the youngster animal world recently, so hopefully we'll be able to find out what's been happening. It is very tough life out here, and sometimes it's not ideal. Zach, you're wondering what's it like to be a safari guide. Well, imagine the best job in the world. That's what it's like to be a safari guide. I think it's very good because going to work, this everything that we see around here, this is our job, this is what we do, and we start looking for animals and just enjoying their company and seeing what they do and what they get up to and all these things. So it's quite unusual, and it's very good. I love it. I love it. It's probably the best job in the world, and like I said, our work colleagues are zebras and elephants and buffaloes and lions and leopards, so it's pretty incredible. Hello, zebras. Now, seems like we have managed to spot our first mammal for the day. Seems like we've got 3 male zebras just in front of us. Beautiful. Alright, so sometimes the boy zebras and the girl zebras, they are in groups. So all the boys will be together in one group and all the girls will be together with the daddy of all the little ones. So I think here we've got 3 still young boys that are probably still a bit too young, but they're going to start looking for a girlfriend sometime soon. Are you guys eating? Now you see those beautiful stripes that they've got? Each zebra is different from one another. So if you were to start counting the stripes of one and compare it to the other one, then you will see that they're all different, despite the fact that they all seem to be pretty much a donkey with pajamas. But they are some of the most beautiful animals out here, don't you think? And there's a very nice breeze coming in. And now remember, if you've got any questions about the beautiful animals that we're looking at or about the job that we do, you're more than welcome to send them through via your teacher, because we love hearing from you guys. Now, I just want to get a hold of the radio and find out there was a report about an animal sighting that I couldn't hear properly, so I just want to catch up with the guys and find out quickly. Maybe it's something we would like to see. Taxon for Ali Taxon. Taxon, come in. Sorry, what was the update that you were giving earlier on? Sorry, what was the update that you were giving earlier on? Okay, copy, thanks so much. Alright, sorry guys, you see, we've got another beautiful bird up here. Now this is one of the most colorful birds that we have here. Maybe not too much right now because the sun is in a funny position, but this is called the lilac-breasted roller, and it's one of the prettiest, there he goes, it's one of the prettiest birds that we have around this area. Now, let me just find it in the book for you so we can have a proper look, because the sun is being funny and it's not really helping us look all too much. Now, if we look at the book over here, is the top one. So you see, it's a very beautiful bird. You see this amazing blue color that it's got, and then some purple on its breast or lilac, and then the beautiful green head. So they are some of the most beautiful birds that we have in this particular area. Now, unfortunately, this one's flown up, so we're gonna follow and take an example from the bird and start driving around and see if perhaps we can see something else. Alex, you're wondering about the zebras. Are they black with white stripes or white? Yeah, black with white stripes or black with white stripes? Now I get, oh, shame, this one's got something funny on its face. So we've got the zebras. Actually, their skin is black, just to answer your question, and their stripes, those are the ones that are white. Now you see, it seems like we've got one with an injury. Some sort of, I think maybe, oh my goodness, it's got some old injury around there, and then it's curing itself. So a lot of the times the animals, when they move around or when other creatures come around, they get hurt, but they are very good at healing. So I think this zebra is still doing fine. It looks a bit uglier than what it actually I think it is, so hopefully this zebra will be fine. But I think this is a very tough boy. And you see, he's still hanging out with the rest. He's not looking particularly skinny. His mane is still up straight, so seems like he's doing just quite fine. Shame, I wonder what it is. I think it's just gotten that way because of the healing process, and just by everything that's looking, or the way that's it's looking around. Now, zebras, where are you going? You're not being too helpful, are you? I wonder if perhaps because that one has a bit of an injury, if that's why they're moving around and they don't really want us to see them all that much. Although I don't think the other two should be stressed whatsoever. But it's a good indication. Now when we look at the zebras, we can tell if they are healthy or not just by looking at their mane, their hair. So if the hair is straight and standing up, then it means that they're in good health condition. And if it's flopping down, then it means that it's not. So this one is looking just fine. So I think that is very positive. We're going to carry on looking to see what else we can find around here. But let's go to Byron, who's got one of my favorite birds in the bush.
We've got a hornbill, Ellie. And you say it's one of your favorite birds. Beautiful, beautiful yellow-billed hornbill sitting right at the top of that big marula tree. It's always nice to see them sitting in the sun. Now, there are a number of birds around us, actually. I'm trying to see if I can find another one. I think I've just found one. Seb, just over there, that termite mound, just to the left. Can you see that? Just dropped down. It's a little arrow-marked babbler. Now that babbler, there's a few of them around. We'll see if we can get another glimpse of them. They're jumping around a bit. I think it's just jumped down into the grass. We'll wait and see. You might be able to hear them though. Hang on, there's one right at the top at the back there, that second branch. Seb, to the back. You got him? There we go. That's the arrow-marked babbler. There we go. A few of them around, a few hornbills. Now, the Creature Conservancy School wanted to know how many birds we have in this Djuma area. So there's a lot of bird species around the greater Kruger, and especially this area. I think the number is just over 200 birds that we get specifically in this area. But it does change. It does vary also depending on the time of the year. You know, in summer we get a lot of migratory bird species. So birds that will come down to South Africa or Southern Africa for the summer for breeding purposes, and then when it gets very cold and the winter arrives like now, a lot of those birds migrate again. But we still do have a lot of bird species around. As I said, we've got these hornbills and the arrow-marked babblers around us. Now it's wonderful to hear those arrow-marked babblers, and they do something very interesting. They do social calling. It's a very strange and tricky word. It's called allomimetic calling. Don't worry, you don't have to know how to say it, but allomimetic basically means it's social calling, social behavior. So when one bird starts calling, the whole group, they're always in groups, and that whole group will call together. So that's what the arrow-marked babblers do, and they've got that beautiful streaking down the chest, which you saw, and there was a whole group of them around here. They seem to have drifted off now a little bit. Seeing if I can't spot another one or two. Alright, so we might continue our search for some birds this afternoon. Let's head back to Ali, who's looking for mammals.
It seems like Byron's very lucky with the birds this afternoon, which are very beautiful things to see. Now, we were looking at an eagle earlier on, but I think it's flown away. And there was a little squirrel not too far away that was making an alarm call, and an alarm call is when the squirrels see an animal that they don't like, a potential predator or something that could harm them, then they start making this noise, and it's almost like so we could hear the squirrel and we saw the eagle, but now both the squirrel and the eagle are gone. So we're going to carry on looking for them. I am hoping though that we're going to get lucky with the biggest bird of them all that we get in this area, which is of course the ostrich, who luckily cannot fly. So we're going to have to roughly go back towards where we were, see if maybe we could see it there, because that would be very special for all of us to see together. Ostriches, we don't see them here often. So the fact that we've got some tracks here is something quite unusual, and it's a very good thing that, who knows, maybe we'll get lucky. So fingers crossed we'll be able to spot these very big birds somewhere in this area. Now while we drive, I am looking on the road, see if maybe we can find some more tracks for an ostrich. Like I said, the other tracks that we had, we've already left them behind, so I haven't seen any more. So we're gonna go back towards we had the last one, and who knows, maybe we'll get lucky just trying to track this ostrich. Alright. Maybe this ostrich is gonna come and surprise Byron on quarantine. That would be that would be quite an encounter. Imagine if Byron was looking for small birds and all of a sudden he jumps into or bumps into the biggest one of them all. I'm sure he would get a bit of a fright, because ostriches are very big birds and they're very powerful as well. They have a kick, a very tough kick, that you don't really want to get kicked by an ostrich. Can you imagine seeing the biggest bird of them all coming for you? I would run. Now, let's see what else is in here. Alright, no tracks around here, and it seems like when I came in earlier, I drove past here and there were lots of wildebeest, but I think that maybe they've gone somewhere else. So I wonder if maybe they're not migrating to or going towards the dam, Gary Dam, for a drink, or if they're perhaps moving on to quarantine. Now I'm looking very carefully because this ostrich could potentially be anywhere around here, so I would really like to find it, just so that I can tick one more animal of my list in the Sabi San, as it would definitely be one of the most unusual birds that I have seen here. Now you see, the beauty when we go on safari is that we don't only look for mammals, and of course we are looking for them. I would really like to show you the impala, which is the most beautiful antelope. Looks very much like a deer that we get in this area, and they are some of my ultimate favorite creatures that we get here. Where are these tracks? I don't even know where to start looking for an ostrich here. It's just such an unusual thing. Okay, well, it seems like our good friend Byron is searching for the ostrich all the way on quarantine, so let's go over to him and hopefully he'll find it.
I am indeed, Ali. I'm searching for everything, really. I'm also digging around in some scrub and brush just to see if we can find maybe some insects or anything interesting. There's not too many insects around at the moment because it is winter. I can hear something calling in the distance. We'll see if we can find them, but there are wildebeest calling in the distance. Now, let's see. Now, Rachel, let me answer your question first. You wanted to know what the coolest experience or the coolest thing is that we've seen or that I've seen on Bushwalk. Now, Rachel, I think, so I've been fortunate. I've had a few really great experiences on the Bushwalk, and one, and my favorite, has to be viewing elephant on foot. We had a very, very nice, I've had a few nice elephant sightings on foot, which is always exciting and wonderful to see and get close to an elephant, keep very quiet and see how they behave. So I've had elephant very close, and the other one, which was very interesting, was we were walking along and a snake crossed in front of us very quickly and moved into a tree, and it was called a boomslang, or a tree snake. They are venomous, but they're quite docile. They tend to move away from people a lot. They don't necessarily bite people very often. But this snake moved up into a tree very quickly, and as it moved up, we noticed there were two 2 owls sitting, little owls, white-faced scops owls, sitting in the tree too. So that was fascinating for me to see those owls. One, because you don't really see them that often. You do hear them, but they're difficult to spot, especially during the day. And then having the snake in the tree too. So if it wasn't for that snake, we wouldn't have spotted those owls actually. But that was an incredible sighting to have on a bushwalk. And those are the kinds of things you can bump into if you're on a bushwalk, perhaps. Now this wildebeest is calling non-stop, and I think he's alarm calling at us. Let's see if we can find him quickly. Let's have a look. I'm going to walk through here. And I think we just need to get out into this clearing a little bit ahead of me. You're right there, Seb. Hold on. The aerial. There we go. Just watch some of the trees. There, they can hear them. Can hear these wildebeest snorting at us. Let's see if we can find it. Can you see anything yet, Seb? Alright, well, I'm going to have a look around here and see if I can... Actually, I found this wildebeest. Come have a look here first, before we head over to Ali. There we go. Can you see? Look at that, through there. See that wildebeest standing, watching us, and he's busy snorting. Quite difficult to spot some of these animals at times because they blend in so well to the environment. So that wildebeest has seen us walking and he is alarm calling. And the reason they do that is because we look like we are potentially predators. So he's just busy snorting. That's how they get the name gnu. They're also known as the gnu, and it's because of that gnu, that grunting sound that they make. So the wildebeest or the gnu. Let's see if he calls again. There, you hear that? Every now and then you hear a snort. And that's just an alarm call to warn, perhaps if there are any other animals around, like impala or other wildebeest or zebra, he will be alarm calling to warn them, but also to let us know that we have been spotted, so we've lost that element of surprise. So if I was a lion or a leopard and I was possibly trying to stalk this wildebeest, I now know that I've been seen. He's seen me and I've lost that element of surprise. So to try and hunt that wildebeest now would be very, very difficult, because if I moved any closer, he's seen me already, he would just turn and run. So, but wonderful to see his reaction as to while we're walking around, how he's snorting and alarm calling at us, and it's purely a defense mechanism so that we know that we've been seen and that he knows he's safe because he's warning us, he's seen us, and he'll probably run away if we had to try go any closer. Wasn't that fantastic? Nice. Alright, we're going to continue and see what other animals we can find, or birds, but let's head to Ali and see how her search is going.
Well, we haven't been that lucky. I think that Byron is at the right place because he's been able to find pretty much all the birds and all the gnus. Now, we are still trying to look for that ostrich, but pretty much anything else we can find. Connor, you're wondering what the weather is like in South Africa. Well, right now we are in winter, the winter time. So I know it doesn't look like it because I'm not wearing too many sweaters and we've got this beautiful sun in front of us. But this is what winter is here. I think the temperature is 27 and 81 Fahrenheit today. So it is an unusually hot day. Now, the weather in South Africa, roughly from, let's say, May until October, that is our dry season, which is also the winter time. So it does get very cold in the morning. Sometimes it goes to 0 degrees. And well, maybe 0 is a bit of a push, but let's say 4 to 7. That's more likely. And then from October to April next year, then that is the summertime, and that is when it rains. So everything that you see on the sides now, all this grass that is yellow and a lot of the trees don't have leaves, then when the summer season comes, it's just like a boom, and everything's green and beautiful and very colorful. Now, I still haven't been able to see this ostrich, but I am hoping that it'll be somewhere on our right hand side. So if you see it, do shout, let us know. We will stop, and then we shall see from here. That'll be quite the thing. Or of course, I am also looking for impala at this time, because they are very pretty creatures, but not too many of them around here. I think everyone's gone off to the beach on such a hot day. Maybe they've gone off to the dams. I think maybe that'll be our next point of action. We're gonna come down the next road, see if perhaps we can check on our friends the hyenas that have a few babies not too far from where we are, and we'll see if they are there. And if not, then we're gonna head off to a watering hole or a water source, because likely that's where some of the animals are going to be. Hopefully an elephant or two later on this afternoon. Now, very quiet around here, and sometimes it happens that you go out on safari and then you drive and you drive and you drive for so much time, or even like Byron, you walk, and sometimes you won't find too many things, and it's because the animals are not always in the same place. They move from one area to the next, but also this afternoon there's a bit of a breeze. So when there's a bit of wind, and I don't know if you've ever been, for example, at the beach, and then you hear, if you go like this, even next to your ears, you can hear the wind next to your ears. So the animals can also hear it, and they don't like it, because they can't hear the animals or the predators coming by. Seems like Byron has found another bird, so let's go over to him and see which one it is this time.
On the ground there.
Oh, yes.
Alright, we've just spotted some more birds. They're flying around. It's quite difficult to see them, but those are white crested helmet shrikes. Can you see them all sitting in the grass over there, or on the little shrubs? Now, those white crested helmet shrikes are actually similar to the arrow mark babblers in that they also move around in groups. They really are beautiful, beautiful birds. It's wonderful to see a lot of these birds flying around, and you can see that whole group of them together. It's a nice thing with being on a bushwalk is while you're walking around, because it's so much quieter than being on a vehicle, you can often hear the birds, you can hear the sounds of the bush around you before you even see them. So it does make it a bit easier to spot the animals if you're looking or listening out rather at first, and then hopefully you can spot them. Now we're still trying to see what else we can find, and if there are any mammals around this area. Nice to see those birds though. It looked like a little bird party. Now some of you might be laughing and wondering, what is a bird party? So a bird party is basically if a group of birds, different species, actually congregate in the same area and they go and they look for food. So in this situation there was a southern black tit which we saw flying through the trees. There was a group of southern white-crowned shrikes, the white crested helmet shrikes. See, you get so confused with the name sometimes. I've been away for a while, so I'm a bit rusty. Those white crested helmet shrikes, that's what those were, with the southern black tit, and then we saw a lilac-breasted roller flying over too. So a number of different birds in the same area. There was a woodpecker also that we saw very briefly that just jumped around the tree and flew off. So these bird parties are when birds go and they congregate together and they will go and look for food and often move around in the similar areas. It's a lot of the smaller birds that feed on similar food such as insects or little seeds, and you get these little bird parties moving together. And while we're walking, also just having a look for tracks. Again, to see if we can't find perhaps tracks of predators moving around, or maybe this ostrich that Ali has spoken about that she's looking for. But let's head over to Ali and see how her search is going.
Well, no luck on this road for the ostrich. I think we may have the place where the ostrich came from, but not the place where she went off to. Now, we're not too far from the Hyena Den, which is pretty much the house where all of the hyenas live. So hopefully once we get there, we will be able to see a few of them. That would be quite nice to see some of the characters that live out here. Zach, You're wondering if I have seen any painted dogs recently. Well, unfortunately not recently, but one of my friends, Taylor, that also works here, she says that she saw them, I think it was yesterday morning if I'm not mistaken. So they are around, but they are the most endangered predator that we get in this area. So we might be lucky seeing them as winter comes around, because there is one pack that has tiny little pups, and they're still in the den, still in their house where they stay. So hopefully as the pups start becoming older, then they'll start bringing them onto us, because we really want to see them, because they're very incredible creatures and I love them, but they stink. They smell very strongly, and they have a very interesting habit of always running around in the dung, so they smell very, very strongly. Come on, ostrich, where you at? Alright, we are not too far from the hyena den, so hopefully there will be someone around there, because I would really like to see them and catch up and find out how they've been in this week that I haven't been around. We shall see. And it's always funny, because when we come back to work after we've been away for a few days, the first thing is, you say hello to everyone, how's everyone doing, and then the most important thing is, how's this animal doing, and have you seen this animal, and how is this doing, and how's this other animal doing? So it is always quite funny. Alright, we are here at the entrance, so fingers crossed, guys, we'll be able to see at least one hyena. Now, I must warn you, if we get there and the little ones are out and about, but the mommy is not there, then we might just have to leave, because we can't spend time with them if the mummies are not around, or the mummies are at least a babysitter. Woo! It's a bit of a tough road around here, because obviously they have their houses far into the bush, where it's safer, where many things can't get to them. So they have chosen well. It just makes it a bit more difficult for us humans to get in and out. But with these very trustworthy vehicles, and with Wendy that I'm on today, I'm sure we'll be able to get in and out. Now, it doesn't look too promising. Hopefully I'll be wrong. Ah, there's a little one. But where are the adults? Okay, there was a little one on the hole. So you see, this is where they live. This is an old termite mound where the hyenas make their house. Now, underneath the ground, there are lots of chambers and tunnels and different things where they can hide. So the hyenas, the adults, they come and they leave their youngsters here while they go in and out, and they start moving about and going hunting and looking for food, and then once they're done, then they'll come back. I can't, however, there was a little one here, but it's gone back into the hole. So it's a tiny, tiny little one. It almost looks like a little black bear, and it's about this big. Now, I know this little one has been in a bit of a distress lately, because we're not too sure where the mommy has gone off to. So I'm going to just drive around onto the other side of the den, see if perhaps the adults are there. If they are not, then unfortunately we're going to have to leave, because we don't want to... we don't want this little one to have a bad experience. So let's just slowly go around and see what the situation is, because often there's an older hyena that's looking after all the little ones. I'm not too sure if we'll see any around here. And of course, that big termite mound that we saw that looks like an anthill, but actually termites live in it, that is a perfect place for all of them to be hiding. So we'll see if there's anyone else around that might allow us for an invitation to stay slightly longer. The Creature Conservancy, you're wondering what animals are hyenas related to? Well, distantly, very, very... Oh, there's an adult, yes. Distantly related to cats, but like millions and millions and millions and years ago. But out of more close relatives, they don't have anything. They are just related to other species of hyena. Alright, there is an adult there, which is very good news, because then it means that we can stay here for a while longer. Yay! Alright, don't attack me, tree. No. don't... okay, I see now. This is a bit of a complicated sighting, so just bear with us for... There's one... Craig, if you look to the entrance, you'll see that one coming through. So it seems like we've got another of the youngsters all the way up there. Hello. Oh my goodness. Full of nonsense are you? Just running around. Now this is not the other one we saw. The other one we saw was a lot darker, but it seems like this one is very, very curious. Now, if you're wondering, this is not the adult we saw. There's another one lying on the grass very close to this one. And the one that we saw earlier, I think she's gone back, or it's gone back into the hole just for a bit of safety. But this one is a bit older, so it's so it's a very playful hyena cub, and it's just moving around, smelling everything. I wonder what it is that you've picked up in there. Now, they can be very naughty, and they start biting and chewing everything that's around them, especially sticks, almost like a dog. Now, you see they look very much like a dog. In the Creature Conservancy, you were asking earlier if they were related to anything, and I know they look very much like a dog, but funny, all of the studies point to the fact that they are actually more closely related to cats, or millions and millions and millions of years ago, they were cousins of the cats. But now they have evolved, and they are a bit different. And they're very unique, beautiful creatures. Hello, little one. Now you see, we can tell that this one is still young. You see the top of its head has got spots, and it's of a white color. And the legs, the bottom part of the legs are still dark in color. So when they are born until they're a few months old, and they're entirely black. And that helps them with the camouflage when they're inside of the den, because they can blend in. Imagine a dark creature inside of a dark hole, and then it's very hard to see them. The Creature Conservancy, you're wondering how hyenas hunt and if they do so as a clan altogether. Well, they can, more often than not. However, the hyenas, they go in small groups, maybe just one by itself, perhaps two of them together, and they go off hunting. And they tend to be quite successful when they do this, and it's pretty much their preferred way of hunting up in this area. However, if they come across something that's a bit big, or if they come across, for example, lions eating something, the rest of the clan can come and try to steal the kill from whatever it is that they're trying to steal it from. Maybe wild dogs, lions or leopards, or other creatures. I'm just a bit puzzled by this little one. It's so curious. It's just pacing up and down now. I think, Craig, would it work for you if I just went back a little bit? Okay, we're just going to move slightly backwards, see if maybe we can get a bit of a clearer view without so many trees in the way. And maybe we'll be able to see this tiny hyena a bit better. Alright, we're going to fight this tree that's underneath us, but while we do that, let's go over to Byron and see how the bushwalk is going.
Now, our bushwalk is going very well. It's very pleasant out here. It's a lovely temperature, nice to be walking around. I've just come to this termite mound just to have a look. Now, there was something moving through here. I think a little lizard. I don't think we're going to see it now. Just have a look. I hope it was a lizard and not a snake. Just double check here. I did think I saw it. Yeah, it's so well hidden in this little grass tuft, but I think it was a little lizard or a skink that moved through the grass. You can see it can disappear very, very quickly from predators, so it probably assumed that we were predators and disappeared. Now, on these termite mounds, you might get, you sometimes, if we're lucky, we might find it's been active perhaps from or being used by other animals like snakes, What else? Well, hyena, like you've seen with Ellie, she's at the Hyena Den. That's an old abandoned termite mound that they use as a den site. This one doesn't look like it's been used by any of those animals. Possibly warthog. Warthog like to burrow and use termite mounds. But like I said, snakes. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are a few snakes inside this termite mound. And what they do is they'll go and burrow in and find little holes. It's nice and warm. So they will go down and use this as a home, especially now in the winter. They'll be hibernating, and then in the summer they'll come out and move around a bit more and be more active. Sometimes some snakes might come out in the winter, and they will lie on the side of the termite mound to bask in the sun, warm up in the winter, and then they'll go back into the hole again. So they'll use a very warm day like today. You might get a snake coming out and going back in. Now, speaking of snakes, Zach, you asked if I've ever seen a black mamba on Djuma. I'm just trying to think, Zach. Have I seen a black mamba here? No, I haven't. I haven't seen a black mamba here, but I have seen many black mambas in this area, just south of where we are at the moment. In the area I used to work on Londolozi, saw many black mambas down there, and the black mambas do occur in this area, definitely. I just haven't seen one yet. I've seen their tracks, almost certainly. Seen some big snake tracks, and that's usually black mambas. You can just see a black mamba track. It's quite big, and the way it curves, it's probably either a big cobra or a black mamba. So I've seen tracks, but no black mambas. Thank goodness, not yet. I love snakes, but black mamba always gives me goosebumps. Anyway, let's head back to Ali and see what she's managed to find.
Well, it seems like we managed to get a bit of a glimpse of this cub, whose name is Intima, but she's now moved back to where the adult is, and I think he might be busy trying to suckle. Is that what's happening? I think that's exactly what's happening. Maybe it's trying to get Mom to give it some milk, but it seems like Mom is not that interested just yet. I think I could almost hear a little bit of a sound, like when little hyenas wanna suckle and Mom doesn't want to, they start making a very high pitch note, like, and it's quite funny. And I think that's exactly what was happening there. I think this little one wants to eat, but Mom is having a full nap, and it's just on the side, and actually seems to have quite a big belly, which is a good indication that they've eaten something yummy in the last little while. Where are you? I think, yes. Didn't you get lucky? Mom is going to give you some milk. Alright, so we know now the adult that was here and eats the mummy. The Creature Conservancy, you're wondering how old this little hyena is. I'm not sure of the exact age, but I think it was born round about December, I want to say. I could be wrong, but I am hoping that some of our very loyal viewers can help me out with this, because now I'm getting confused with the birth of the other one. But it's just a few months old, definitely not a year old. So it's still very much dependent on Mom and all the milk that it gets from its mom. Now, they're in a bit of a tight spot, and I cannot go any closer to them, because that would mean that we would be bothering them, which clearly we don't want to do, because we just want them to carry on with their day as if we weren't here. The Creature Conservancy, you're wondering what other sounds the hyena make. Well, they've got a wide range of sounds that they make. I think recognize they have about 11 different sounds that they make. Anything from these very low, like very high-pitched noises that the little ones make when they want to get food, until from very loud and deep grunts, and then of course the whooping and the laughing noises that the hyenas seem to make. Now, they've all got a different reason why they make those calls, and sometimes it's just to advertise that they are the dominant hyenas, or that this area is a particular house for some of these hyenas, and sometimes it's just to be able to call some hyenas that are far away. Sometimes it's to get other hyenas to come and help them out and come running to them, like if they found something very big, like a massive thing that they want to eat, then they can also start whooping. And it's one of the most beautiful sounds that you hear out in Africa during the night, is so when the hyenas start whooping, and it almost sounds like a whoop, so they'll go whoop, pretty much like that. And it's very, very beautiful, and you hear it often, and you'll hear one calling over here in the dark, and then another one will reply, and then another one maybe somewhere else. And funny enough, it's normally the girls that will answer each other. If there's a boy calling, then the girls are not really too bothered, and they don't reply. They just wait for the other girls to come and start answering or calling to be able to reply. Now, seems like this little one is definitely fast asleep around here, so I'm going to say goodbye to all of you for now. It's been a pleasure having you around, but before we do that, let's go over to Byron, who would also like to say goodbye.
Alright, well, welcome back, and the schools have just left us. I'm still on bushwalk, and it's great to be back. So for our regular viewers, I know there were lots of complaints from James, and he didn't want me to come back, but James is in the Mara, bandaged up at the moment, so I am back. It's great to be back, and yeah, it's been a great start already. So at Wildebeest, some interesting little tracks, and it's wonderful. Such a wonderful day actually out here. So it's lovely to be able to be out on bushwalk again. We know we haven't had bushwalk for a while, so hopefully no technical issues. It looks like it's all working 100%, which is great. And yeah, so we'll see what we can find this afternoon. And I've been all over the country. The rest of the country is very cold at the moment, with it being winter. I was in the Kalahari, and the temperature there is much, much cooler than this. James, you asked if I had any nice sightings while away. I did, James. I think the highlight was actually two highlights. Now, in the part of the Kalahari that we go to, it's very, very different, completely different to this. Very arid, not the complete desert that you would expect. It's still a lot of vegetation, but very arid vegetation. And we did get to see a pangolin, so I was very excited about that. It's always nice to see a pangolin because they are so rare. So it was nice to see one of those. At night though, walking around, still always wonderful. And then something interesting that I saw was a group of meerkat. Now, we don't get meerkats in this area. They're those little suricats that I'm sure a lot of you would know what I'm speaking about. They sit up and they'll stand looking around, foraging for food during the day, part of the mongoose family. But we don't get the meerkats here. They prefer the drier areas of southern Africa and East Africa. Now, the meerkats, there was a group of them, and they were clearly mobbing something in a bush, and so we thought perhaps it's a snake. They are known for mobbing and chasing and killing snakes even. But what happened was we then caught a glimpse of something run out of the bush, and it was an African wildcat. Now, this African wildcat had her kitten with her, one little kitten, and somehow these meerkats managed to run after them and chase them out of the bush, which I found fascinating, because I know I've heard of African wildcats catching and killing meerkats. So it was very, very interesting that these meerkats moved together in a group, and they managed to mob and chase this wildcat away. So that was probably one of the highlights of the last trip, or the recent trip that I did. And then other than that, very different antelope species, but it's completely different to this area. Nice to be there though, and nice to be back here. I must be honest, this wonderful warm temperature that we're having at the moment is just fantastic. Now, as I said, we're on bushwalk, and it looks like bushwalk is struck already, and already claimed its first injury. Anyway, well, I may need some bandages and, I don't know, some serious help.
Can you carry on the wall?
I think I can carry on, Seb. Let's head back to Ali and find out how her afternoon is going.
I wonder if this was not just an excuse for Byron to show off his legs, because, you know, there's the biceps and now perhaps also the legs. Interesting, Byron. I think he's trying to charm all the ladies away. Well, we had to leave the hyenas because little Intima started suckling. Now, when hyenas start suckling, it's an event that can go on for about an hour at a time, and the visual was not the greatest. So we've left them, and we're gonna come back later on, see if perhaps they're a bit more active and running around, because it seems that Ribbon has got quite a full belly, so I don't think they'll be going anywhere. So we're gonna carry on with our path, perhaps hopefully bump into this ostrich that should be here somewhere. And then in the meantime, we're also gonna make our way to Buffalo's Dam. Was that an ostrich track that I saw there? No, doesn't seem like it was. And see if maybe we'll get some elephants down there. I reckon this would be a wonderful afternoon for elephants. Very nice and hot. They should be going down for a drink. Hopefully they're all not down in the further southern parts of Kruger. They're starting to come back. Cameron, you're 9 years old and you're wondering if ostriches have a call and if they make any sounds. Well, I have heard her make funny sounds, but it's more like a grunt than anything else. But other than that, they're not the loudest of creatures out here, and they don't really have a particularly pretty call. Yeah, it's more like a grunt, more like type of call. So, but this is typical now, because I am so fiercely looking for the ostrich, then we won't be able to see it, but nobody will be able to say that we didn't try, because that would be the most unusual sighting. And although I am very jealous of Byron's pangolin, because I haven't seen a pangolin in a very long time, and I know exactly where he saw them, and I wasn't at the same reserve a few years ago, really hoping for pangolins, and didn't even see one. So I think maybe I've just got to stop looking for them, and then they will all reveal themselves to me. I think that seems to be the way of the bush. Stop looking for things and then they'll come your way. Or look for them until you're exhausted, and then when you do find one, then you'll be so happy you'll be able to pass out pretty much from joy. Alright, nothing around here. Just some old impala tracks, and I wonder where the impalas have gone off to. Roshni, you're saying that you hope that I have some lucky beans with me. Well, unfortunately, I think my lucky beans have run out. I lost my last lucky bean. I'm not too sure where it went off to. I think it might have gotten away in the washing machine when I wash my jacket. You know, who really needs to wash your clothes? I could wear the same ones all summer long, or winter long. But we'll carry on looking for lucky beans as well. And I am quite surprised that we only saw that one plant that one time, and that was about it. Because normally they're creepers, so it should be more often than not here. But seems like, however, just talking about the lucky beans has brought some luck to us. And I see a herd of impala, but they are running away from us. So hopefully in the next few seconds we'll be able to get them. Come on, impala! Come back! Don't go! At least one of the boys heard me out. Oh, 2 boys. Okay, good. Means we've got some friends amongst the impala. Alright. It is not the best visual, but I just want to show the impala to you guys so that you can see that I'm not making up any funny stories, and that we actually have a herd of impala. Which, funny enough, we've only been able to find pretty much an hour into drive. Where have you guys been? So unfriendly of you. I always get so excited when I come back from leave to see impala. I've even gotten Tristan to say impala now with a Spanish accent. That's how excited I get when I see them. Oh, they're all going away. Right, we shall carry on going, but while we're here, I think it'll be interesting to show you something of the conservation of the reserve in front of us. Jilly, you're wondering if any animals grow a thicker winter coat. Well, most of the mammals do, so they get some of their hair during the winter time. Or during the winter time their hair grows thicker, and then they start losing it as summer comes along, because then it's going to be too hot for them to carry it around. Sorry, Craig was doing a stunning job in showing us that patch in front of us, and the reason why I want to show it to you is because it's been burnt. So it was actually burnt today, if I'm not mistaken, either today or yesterday, and it's what we call a controlled burn of the fire break. So the Sabi sand, the reserve that we're in, they do this type of controlled burns to try and diminish the fuel load, and just to make sure that this particular area, because it's a fire break, it's a buffer area between two reserves, that if there is a fire happening, that it's not going to find enough fuel to jump from one reserve to the next one. So that's why certain patches are looking a bit darker than others, and it's also eventually, when the rainy season does come in a few months, likely it'll stimulate the growth of new grass. Now, it's also good for us because then it'll help us look through one road to the next a little bit easier, and there will be less grass around. So here's to hoping that maybe it will be quite stunning to find just a leopard lying down with its beautiful spot over there. So Tingana, this is your area, Mvula as well. Come on, boys. I'm not being fuzzy, just either one of you would be nice. But yes, and it's looking quite stunning, that contrast between the black of the land that has been burnt, or just the grass level that has been burnt, and then the back. Now, it's been a very unusually hot summer and everything's starting to dry out, so this is just part of control measures, preventive measures, just to make sure that if we do get a fire later on, things will not go wrong. It seems like Byron is walking amongst the dry grass, so let's go over to him and find out how his poor leg is doing.
It's really okay. Thanks, Ali. Thanks for the concern. I'm sure you're very concerned. Now, I'm just using a termite mound again, just as a nice vantage point. The grass is still fairly long, and these termite mounds are just a great opportunity to get up and scan and check the area very carefully. Perhaps we find some elephants moving around or buffalo. That would be wonderful. So that's what I'm trying to look for this afternoon, is perhaps a herd of elephant. So listening out very carefully if we can't hear them before we see them, because often you can hear them breaking the branches and the trees. Whew. Climb the termite mound, I'm unfit.
Like, are you serious?
Don't worry, Seb, I'm not that bad. I was just thinking to myself, now it's amazing how the bush has changed in the last 3 weeks to a month. A lot of the trees have all lost their leaves. You can see all these combretums. There's a number of combretums around here behind me. All these leaves are completely dry and falling off at the moment. I know just before I left, and there were a lot of questions about the bush changing color, and do the trees lose their leaves? And you can see that very clearly with all these trees around here. A lot of these bush willows have all lost their leaves. It's interesting to see the contrast and the change that goes on in the bush. Now, there are still a few evergreen trees around. You're still going to have some of the guarri trees, for example. The guarri tree is a well-known evergreen tree. We see a lot of them around. I'm just walking and having a look carefully just to see if there's anything interesting that we can find. Now, Ali was with the hyena earlier, and that made me think of a story now. Again, in the area I was in, they get a lot of brown hyena. Now, brown hyena is quite different to the spotted hyena. Quite a large, shaggy coated animal, but not really found in huge clans. A little bit more solitary compared to the spotted hyena. Huge territories, but quite shy, quite skittish. You don't really see them very often. Now, the brown hyena, though, just like the spotted hyena, they use anal glands to scent mark and that, but the brown hyena will choose blades of grass like this, and what they do is they basically secrete a substance from that anal gland onto the grass stem, and it's black and white. Now, that black and white substance is actually very, very pungent, and I think it's the black layer secreted first, and the white layer kind of coats it slightly and causes that scent to last longer. But it's so pungent. But what I find interesting and fascinating is that substance, some people can actually smell it a lot clearer than others. And I don't know what it is. If it's the pheromones or whatever, or the scent that is given off. Some people cannot smell it at all, and other people pick up on it immediately. Now I can smell it. It's very strong and pungent, and now in the Kalahari I walked past some, and I just got a touch of it on my pants. But for 2 days I could smell this hyena scent on me. It was terrible. The guests all stayed away from me. But it's amazing how long that scent can last, especially on a blade of grass. And that's how they mark their territory. So it's different to some of the other animals that use urine just to urinate on trees. Now those brown hyena use these pastings, hyena pastings. I see this tree still has some beautiful green leaves. The beautiful torchwood. You can see those leaves, are also known as a green thorn, the torchwood or the green thorn. So what I've noticed around here is just, if you look, a lot of the grass has been trampled in this area. Now it looks like possibly a herd of elephant that came through here, maybe looking for some vegetation to feed on, maybe some of the seeds of the torchwood perhaps. But they've definitely trampled this area or flattened it. I don't think it was fairly recently, although just have a look at, you see there's a lot of other little tracks around this area. So there's some antlion little diggings over here, or burrows. There's other little tracks, some antelope tracks around. So I don't see clear, fresh elephant tracks. And so this is probably a bit older, but you can see just the way they flatten the grass and that around here. I'm just having a look in this tree, the beautiful stem of the torchwood. And there are lots of little nooks and crannies that something could potentially hide in. Maybe something like a snake or an insect. I know scorpions also enjoy these trees because the bark is very easy to get into, and they can hide around there. So just having a look. Also, you've got to be very careful if you just walk up to trees and have a look around, because there could potentially be snakes in the holes. So just always be careful if you are looking around. No, I don't see anything at the moment. And again, with it being winter, not many insects are active. Chances of seeing scorpions and that are quite slim too. Now, let us continue our search for elephants and see, maybe we're getting more signs of them. Hopefully we find a herd this afternoon. Let's head back to Ali, who seems to be tracking something.
Sorry. Yes, I was sort of trying to track something. We had some lion tracks roughly heading in that direction towards Bushwalk Dam, but it seems like the tracks have been driven over, and there are reports from this morning for a lion pride heading into Bushwalk. Now I want to try and see if maybe I can show you guys a track, because it's right here, and I don't think the guys actually call the tracks all too much. Sorry, it's going to be against the sun. Okay. Sorry, Craig. Hopefully this will work. Let me just show you guys quickly. It's a track for a male lion, because it's quite a big track. Let me just grab my very trustworthy piece of grass. So you see we've got the track here. So we've got 1, 2, 3 lobes at the back. 1, 2, 3, 4 toes in front. Now quite a nice big roundy track, and it looks very, very nice. So it's here, and then also here, and then carries on. So I'm going to carry on following those tracks for a little while. Who knows, maybe these lions actually cross back. I know that there were some found in Bushwalk this morning, and then they had them calling, but you never know. Like we said, the roads were graded earlier today, and it seems like the lion tracks have carried on. So fingers crossed we'll be able to follow these tracks and see roughly towards where they go, and I am hoping the answer is going to be somewhere in Djuma. Now I'm excited. So let's see if maybe we can figure out where these tracks go off to. As I spoke to the guys from this morning, or the guys that were out and about this morning, and they said that they didn't see any tracks here. So let's see. Steelwood Mag, you're wondering what the lifespan of a leopard is. Well, it's around 19 to 20 years in the wild, roughly, but that is very, very long lived. I would say on average they probably live until they're about 15 or so. Although they are, I think Karula's mom, Safari, she lived up to when she was 19, which is quite an old age for a leopard. Now, I can't see any more tracks around here, so I do wonder if perhaps it were the same ones that went on to Bushwalk. I am starting to get a bit disheartened because no more tracks here, so I have a strong feeling that they then went back inside. But no, there's a track again for a lion. A few of them, actually. Alright, let's just pay attention to where we go now. I am hoping that these lions will be back in here. Tristan says those are old tracks. Why, Tristan? You've just broken my heart. So I spoke to the guys and they said that they didn't have tracks up here, but I'm gonna keep an eye out anyway. He's like, what does Tristan really know? I think I'm gonna be sleeping on the couch. First day back and already being kicked out. But yeah, this one's an... Alright guys, we are still going to carry on just because I'm stubborn like that. Let's see what else we can find around here, and if not, we're still on our way to Bushwalk Dam. Hopefully we'll be able to find something around there. Hopefully these lions, or perhaps elephants, or buffalo. That would be nice. I'm sure those lions are going to start trailing the buffalo, and apparently there was quite a big herd of buffalo heading towards Sydney's dam. We did see lots of trucks heading in that direction, but no lions around there, and then we couldn't really see the buffaloes from where we were, so perhaps they have carried on walking towards Manyaleti or further into Bushwalk. Yeah. Alright, seems like no more trucks around here. Seems like maybe I need to admit my defeat onto Tristan, although of course now that I say this I see more tracks, so we're just gonna carry on, see what else we can find here. I don't know what Tristan is on about, but these are new tracks. Taylor, who's watching from FC, is saying that she also really wants to find this ostrich. I think, Taylor, maybe that should be our mission for tomorrow morning if we're on together. That should be the girls' mission, just trying to find the ostrich. Like I said, I've never seen an ostrich in the Sabi Sand before, so it would be quite an experience to try and find them, which would be pretty, well, find it, because it's just tracks for one. Now I wonder if we're gonna get lucky, because I know there's one, and it's almost like a lost ostrich that lives around Londolozi, which is just south from us. It's been there for a few years, and it was a female pretty much on its own, and then it seemed like she was lost because she was there for a few years, approaching vehicles, missing narrow escapes from lions and leopards and cheetahs and all sorts of things that were chasing it, until finally there was one male that came along, and then I believe that they had little chicks. I'm not too sure how many of them have survived, if she's still got a few in and out, but it was quite an unusual story. It was a very beautiful story, actually, of this stranded ostrich that stayed there. Now I can't see any more tracks, so I'm not feeling particularly hopeful. Anything from a lion to an ostrich would be quite nice on this afternoon, but let's see. Let's head over onto the dam, and then hopefully there will be something else around there that we'll be able to see. Alrighty. Let's see what else is in here. Sorry guys, I can't seem to do too much multitasking. Driving and looking on the road and talking sometimes gets a bit tricky. So if we do see anything else, we'll definitely let you know. And like I said, it would have been just great because now there's all of this burnt area, so it's a lot easier for us to see in and out. So I'm hoping for one of them to pop out in this area. Seems like Byron is enjoying strolling around underneath the summer sun, so let's go over to him and find out what he's looking for next.
I am enjoying the sun, Ellie. It's wonderful. It's so nice and warm out here at the moment. I'm looking for anything really, and that's the thing. I did have a tick on my leg earlier, but I got rid of that very, very quickly. I don't want to leave it on there. Quite a large tick. And that's interesting because, like I said, the insects and that aren't as many. There aren't as many insects around, but and Ali, you were actually wondering if there are ticks around now. Even in the dry season, there are still ticks. It's not as bad, not as many pepper ticks. Those tiny, tiny little ticks, those small ones that when they bite us, it's very, very itchy. It's very, very itchy. But the larger ticks, I saw one of the tick that was on me was one of the bigger ones. Now there are a number of species of ticks, but it just flicked it off very quickly. Now this road, just back on the road again now, just having a look around because we are trying to track animals, so it is a bit easier to come back onto this area. Now this is one of the newer graded roads. It's actually very dusty. It's a powdered dust, a powder sand. This very, very dusty. If you see, if I just tap with my foot like that. See, I used to be a tap dancer. That's why. But there's a lot of dust here at the moment. But the sand is nice and soft, so we can find some clear tracks of animals if they've walked through the area. Megan was laughing at my tap dancing. Did you think? Now, still, Mac, you asked, and we get this question quite often about being on the bushwalk, and if we're not scared of being out of the vehicle and walking around. So, no, not at all, not at all. I think it doesn't matter if you're on the vehicle or if you're on walk. You constantly have to be aware of what's around you. Yes, you are safer on the vehicle, but there's no reason for us to be unsafe out here. We constantly scan the area, we check very, very carefully, look for tracks, listen to the bush, even use our sense of smell to pick up on animals. All of that, you've got to use all your senses. It's not just your eyesight that helps. And now with it being winter, the bush is a little bit more open. It's a bit easier to spot animals if there are any around. And to be honest, the animals in this area that we would be wary of and cautious of would be elephant and buffalo. Those two mainly. Possibly a hippo if it was out the water, if we were near a water hole. But again, you've got to be careful, you've got to be aware and alert. But in terms of being scared, not at all. If we bump into the animals, just stand our ground and back off slowly, and usually animals relax and we'll get out of the area. We're all trained to handle situations like that, and I've been walking in the bush for many, many years, so that obviously helps. The more experience you have, you know how to get out of situations without harming yourself, your guests, or the animal. At the end of the day, we're purely here to view the animals, so we've got to respect them and try and get away from them and not cause them too much stress if we are out on foot and walking around. Alright, but it is really, really wonderful to be walking around in this winter's afternoon in the bush. Now, from us walking around and dodging trees, like Seb is dodging trees, Ellie's safe and sound on the vehicle. She's got nothing to worry about.
Well, we don't have anything to worry about other than perhaps a spiny tree that comes away a bit too much into the car. Now, we've just gone past Bushwalk Dam and there was nothing. Not even our friendly hippo that's normally around there, not even a plover, nothing. There was one dove drinking water and that was it. So we have decided then to move on and carry on to the next the next dam. Hopefully there will be somewhere around there. There were some reports earlier today for Shongile, somewhere around Little Gowrie, Chitwa, that area. So we're just gonna keep our ear out, see if maybe she does decide to pop out somewhere, because pretty much anything would be nice at this point. I think all of the big mammals are avoiding me today. But it's fine, we'll carry on looking for them. Now the tracks for that male lion, they do seem like it's the ones that they had walking later on this morning, around about 10:30. So he's gone on to Buffalo's Hook, tracks for one male, and he is somewhere in Buffalo's Hook. So hopefully it'll come back tomorrow morning, counting on them being back. Alright. Okay, let me see what else we can find around here. And this has been a good road overall for elephants, so I was kind of hoping that we were going to find some of them around here, but let's go down towards more of the central point. Sometimes when they come, they like digging for water in this drainage line, so I think maybe it'll be a good idea to go and check around here, and hopefully we'll be able to maybe find one or two. I think it would be a very nice afternoon for the Molowati, and worst comes to worst, there's always Chitwa Dam where we can go and explore in there, find out what's lurking around that area. There are any butterflies or moths still around? Well, there are a few that we see every now and again if we go through the drainage lines or where there's some water and things are looking a bit greener. But they're too common at this time of the year, in the winter time, and or these insects rather, they have a very short lifespan. So some of them are pretty much waiting to be born in the summer season. Some of them are perhaps pupating and they're in that process where they will become something else as summer comes around, and some of them are still fluttering around, but we don't see too many of them around this time of the year, which is a bit sad because well, it's probably why they don't occur. With those beautiful colors, they will stand out pretty nicely in this dry vegetation. But if we do see any, we'll be more than happy to point them out. Perhaps Byron on Bushwalk, he'll be luckier finding the smaller flying creatures, because it's a bit easier once you're walking, because you don't disturb them as much with the vehicle. Because in the vehicle, even though I'm going very slowly, perhaps I'm going a bit to be able to be quick enough to find or to spot any of these creatures. Now there's a very good spot which we always laugh and say it's the coldest spot in all of the reserve, which is called Philemon's Dip. And every time you go through there are lots of little butterflies and insects and little things out and about. So that is perhaps the best spot to start looking. And around the dams are generally a good place to start looking for them as well. Now, seems like even the birds have taken the day off today. And it's not even that windy. Alright, Trangile, your turn to come along. We are still a bit far from the area where she would normally be, so slowly but surely we'll make our way down there, see if maybe we can find any signs of her being around. And of course, well, I would still like to see Tundi, which I've only seen once. And all of the Nkahumas, because last time I saw them I kind of broke Wendy down. Because there was a stump that we did not see, and then the steering wheel just broke, and then we could carry on going and going and going and doing like this with our wheel, and it would never turn. So it was quite funny because at 1.7 I hadn't still quite figured out what was going on, and the car was just going back and forth. So I was laughing quite a bit. Was that an ostrich track? I think I'm just looking at crazy things now, but no, doesn't seem like it was. Now, which way should we go? Should we carry on going south in here? Should we go west? I think maybe let's just do this road completely, and then we'll be able to find it. Well, to find it. I don't know what it is, but pretty much anything at this point. Seems like Byron is still enjoying strolling around on the bushwalk, so let's find out if he can maybe spot us a butterfly.
Ali, I'm going to try and find a butterfly indeed. We'll see if we can. Now, we're approaching a clearing though. Now, they generally are in the past, and I say this in the past because animals tend to move around, as you all know. But this little clearing out here in front of us There's often the odd impala or wildebeest around here. So I'm going to have a good look around. Just see if we can't find anything. It's been pretty quiet this afternoon in terms of the animals that we've seen. We've only seen that one wildebeest and a glimpse of a steenbok. Sid, you asked if the quality of the track will change depending on the type of soil. Well, yes, definitely. Sid, now I think let me try to show. Actually, there we go. We don't need my tracks. There's some beautiful tracks that you can see right here. Have a look at this. There's some zebra tracks. You see that? There's the hoof and the back part of the hoof. Now, in this soft soil, the track is very, very clear. So it's easy to spot a track in the soft soil. This is a very dusty soil. Like I said, it's fine. The soil is very, very fine. So the dust is quite intense. So a lot more dust than you would find. And I'm trying to think. I think just up ahead on the other roads, you'll see the terrain changes slightly. The dust changes. It's not as bad, not as fine. But the soft soil makes it easier for us to see the tracks, and would also then cause the tracks to look fresh for longer because they are very, very clear. And at the moment there's not much wind around, and also the cool temperatures. The tracks don't age very quickly like they do in summer. So the tracks may seem a lot fresher for longer. I'm just going to try have a look up on this road ahead, because I'm almost certain that area the soil changes slightly, and it's very, very different to the soft sand that we're on at the moment. I'm still scanning ahead just to see if we can't find any animals around here. I was hoping to spot some impala or anything, possibly in the clearing or in the shade of those trees. You can see we've got some evergreen trees around us at the moment. Here's a peltiforum right here. There's the very soft leaves of the peltiforum. The weeping wattle, or African wattle, that's what that is. So some of those around, and then there's a lot of guarri trees around too. So this section, this area that we're going through now, not as many bush willows. There are still quite a few bush willows dotted around. You can see the beautiful colors, the yellow and the green and the brown. But there are some, a lot of evergreen trees around here. We'll see. We're almost in that clearing. We'll see if we can find anything around there or get some interesting tracks to show you. While I do, Ellie is on search for leopards. I hope she has some luck this afternoon.
Well, I think we're not being fuzzy right now. We are on the search for pretty much anything with a heartbeat, as they say, because there has been nothing on our path. Like, we haven't even seen a fleeting kudu, a nyala, an impala, pretty much nothing. Hey, not even a bird. So perhaps this is the area of the reserve not to be in, so we're gonna move out of here quite soon and make our way towards Twin Dams and then possibly Treehouse Dam. And if there's nothing in either one of those dams, then we're pretty much going to count our losses and abandon Djuma and go all the way to the biggest dam of them all, and of course Chitwa Dam. So hopefully there will be something around here. Now, it would be stunning if there were any tracks around here, because this, like I said, this road was also graded and it's looking so nice and crisp and perfect. Like, it's the type of road where you really want to see a track, because you know then it's quite fresh and beautiful and we would be able to show you something stunning. But unfortunately, not even one. Seems like nobody has been walking around here, not even the impalas. The road was completely clean, just the tracks of the wind and the leaves being blown by the wind. Oh my goodness, there were two butterflies just flutter around us. I don't know if you guys saw them, they nearly went into my eye. But yeah, we've lost them as well. Alright, Twin Dams, we have big expectations for you, so hopefully we'll be able to spice our luck up all the way in there. And we'll be able to get something there. I wonder if perhaps we shouldn't actually check Treehouse Dam first. Ah, giraffe! Yes! Hello, boy! Very happy to have found you. So exciting to see an animal. Alright, Giraffe, please don't go anywhere. We've been looking for you all this drive. Hello. Yeah, you're looking very good. Alright, we've got a massive giraffe bull in front of us that seems to have a bit of an injury on his leg. I wonder what it is with the... He's got a bit of a limp going on, and I can't really see that wound all that well, but I don't think it's anything too serious, otherwise it wouldn't be able to walk. Still, however, I wouldn't try my luck if I were a big giraffe like this one to walk close to lions. Still not ideal. And then we are looking at what appears to be a gorgeous bull. Very big, looking in, still, despite the wound, quite good condition. You see the typical distinguishing feature of the male giraffes. It's just those very thick horns that get bald in the middle. As they start fighting and growing old, and they start losing their head on top of their ossicans, which is the proper name for those still little horns that they've got on top of their head. Paula, you were saying he's so gorgeous. I agree with you, and that's why we're going to try and go around and have another look of this beautiful giraffe. Now, he's hiding behind the bushes, so I'm hoping once we come around this road, then we'll be able to see it. No, don't go, giraffe. We just want to be your friend. Yeah. I think maybe I'm gonna get across onto the road very soon before the giraffe goes. Sorry guys. I'm just gonna look on the road because the giraffe is slowly moving into the bushes, which we don't want it to do. But who knows? Perhaps the leaves are tastier on the other side. H. Macy, you're wondering if giraffes migrate. Well, they might get displaced in the winter time and move on to other areas, but they don't migrate like the wildebeest and the zebras and the gnus do in some other parts of Africa. This is quite an impressive giraffe. He's so huge. Like, even compared to some of the other male giraffes that I've seen before, just like the size of that neck and his general body shape, he seems to be quite in good condition, or a very dominant state. Right, let's just try going back, or backwards, and hopefully we'll be able to have another glance at this giraffe. There we go, the giraffe busy feeding on the leaves. Louise, you're wondering if giraffe hunt and eat alone. Is that correct, Megan? Alright. So, giraffe don't hunt like a lion or a leopard do, but they forage, which is the herbivore version of going hunting for leaves. So they can do it by themselves, and they have what it's called a loose social aggregation. So they can bump into other giraffes and spend some time together, but just as they bump into each other, likely they're gonna move off and just carry on doing their own thing. So while it's not uncommon to see a few of them together, it's also quite common to see them by themselves, especially the males. The males seem to just look for aggregations of females, or looking for groups of females that could potentially be becoming receptive for any mating opportunities for them. So he is busy eating all the leaves of this tree. Let's see what tree you're looking at. You're feeding on a buffalo thorn. A very tasty tree, very thorny, so it's got to be very careful in the way that it feeds. So you see, it doesn't actually bite the branch, it just wraps its tongue around the leaves and then pulls the leaves, and that's pretty much what it eats.